you are from Africa. Only Africans will help Africa genuinely. So you must first of all come to the consciousness of I am to help Africa. Stop asking what will Africa do for me. Rather say what will I do for Africa. It changes your mindset. So even if you are relocating, that means if you have that kind of mindset, your purpose is not to begin to do what reduces you as an African, but rather you see it as an opportunity to learn some things you want to bring back to Africa under the condition you cannot get it from your home. Awesome. Which that is also possible and cheaper.
The problem we have in this country is because we are suffering from mental slavery. Over 300 years ago, our parents sold our brothers and sisters into slavery. 300 years later, we are still selling ourselves into slavery. Those days, the price for the slaves were trinkets, beads, gunpowder, gin, and so on. The price today is foreign aid. The price today is political influence. The country itself is not indigenous. Even the coup, we are blaming the military. I believe there is the author of one of the books I have read in this conference who stated that the idea of a coup was first suggested in one of the military conferences they attended in America. I was particularly struck by a conversation I had with a Greek professor. He told me his opinion of why West Europeans were supporting the rebellion against Nigeria. It was, he said, common among Westerners to sympathize with the underdog in any dispute, which in this case happens to be the Eastern Igbo. But what was even more important to the West was that Nigeria was a potential rival power in Africa, a force which had to be checked before it becomes a threat to Western European interests on the continent. He said that according to certain estimates, Nigeria was sitting on a keg of oil, which, given a suitable condition, would make it so rich in just 10 years, that is by 1978, that Nigeria would not require any aid from Europe. Indeed, Nigeria would be in a position to assist other African countries, especially the poorer ones, and thus undermine an important basis on which European influence was exercised over them. He did not therefore think that Europe would stand idly by and watch Nigeria become to Africa what the United Nations had become to Western Europe. He assured me that whatever happened in the future, the West would never allow Nigeria to develop to a position where its wealth and power would threaten West European interests in Africa.
With global aid collapsing, self-reliance is the new buzzword in Africa's health sector. Last week in Durban, South Africa, leaders at the 4th International Conference on Public Health in Africa didn't mince their words. The crisis in global health funding is real, and it is also a chance for the continent to rewrite the rules. The big message: Africa's health security can't depend on anyone else. African leaders called on the continent's health community to transform crisis into opportunity, pointing out advances in vaccine manufacturing amid big job losses and reductions in aid. South Africa's Minister of Science, Blade Nzimande, called a new medicines manufacturing plan led by the Africa CDC a truly historic moment. It's a $3.2 billion commitment to ensure that by 2040, 60% of all vaccines used in Africa are made in Africa. As Nzimande put it, it's about equipping our people, scientists, and manufacturers with the tools and skills to secure the continent's health sovereignty. The theme of the conference was moving towards self-reliance to achieve universal health coverage and health security in Africa. It comes as overseas aid is expected to fall by up to 28% this year. The event put a spotlight on Africa-led innovations, policy solutions, and research aimed at building self-reliant healthcare systems tailored to the needs of local people. Africa CDC's Director General Jean Kaseya declared, "For the first time, Africa is inspiring the world." So, can Africa build a self-reliant health system in the face of dwindling global aid? It's clear that even as aid cuts threaten vital programs, Africa is charting a new path. You can learn more about this in our news article, "Turn Crisis into Opportunity, African Health Leaders," on the SciDev.net website. We've included a link to the story in the comments.
Europe is better than Africa is something that was put in your head by Europeans, but Africa has everything. Africa is super rich culturally, language-wise, food, resources. Everything is in Africa. Africans only need to take back control of their continent. I also met a girl from the Netherlands. She was also traveling. We met in Mauritania and then we met in Senegal and in Gambia. So we came across each other several times and we had these discussions several times. People were hosting us and we would love to say, "I'm going to host you when you come to Italy, when you come to Belgium." But people cannot come here because they don't get visas. And it's just bullshit. It's mind-blowing, this thing that people cannot just travel freely, because a lot of people I met, my age, they don't want to come to Europe to stay here. They just want to travel as I do. But Europe is taking resources from Africa. They've been doing this for forever.
There's a disconnect between the academia and the real everyday African life. So today I am from the academia world, and I'm going to make decolonization something that is understandable to even Mama Mboga. So what is decolonization? Decolonization is what we are calling Africans to say, because it is in our everyday struggles. It's in the 67% youth unemployment we have currently. It's in the 50+% of wastage we have because we don't have processing plants. We lose 50% of our agricultural produce. It's in the way we trade raw materials. Why don't we have processing plants? Why can't we add value? Currently, when you look at data, Africa trades at 2% in terms of value addition, 2%. Our manufacturing as a continent is 3.2%. So that is what we're trying to show people. Actually, the colonies never left. They only took away their flag, gave us our flag. They took the gunpowder and gave us debt credits. They gave us knowledge that is not ours, and they gave us empty stomachs. If we are not careful, according to data, by 2030, which is also the day that we are going to have SDGs, those goals, will not be actualized. Actually, youth poverty in Africa, if we don't act now, will be at 80%. Data is there, research shows that.
When I say that no black country would ever develop, I meant the basic things that is required. The 4-pillar foundation that you find in every developed country. But there is no developed country. There are only 2 types of countries on earth: industrialized countries and non-industrialized countries. So if I tell you, Ghanaian Africans, your people are underdeveloped, Ghanaians are underdeveloped, will you accept it? How about you?
No.
And how can a place, there's no place, you can't have a country without people. So how did you call the country itself underdeveloped, yet claim that the people who live in it are developed?
It's because of the infrastructure.
No, but what I'm saying is, if the people were developed, shouldn't they build what they're supposed to build?
But it's the resources as well, the lack of resources.
What resources do you lack? See, the comparison is when you began to know that your country, the 4-pillar foundation required in any developed industrialized country, no black country has it. Those are, you know what is WASP? W-A-S-P, white, the race, Anglo-Saxon, the ethnicity, Protestants, the religion, and their history.
So is it when they came to colonize our continent and then
No.
left?
That is a 4-pillar foundation. Japanese, the language, the ethnicity, they're Japanese, the history, they're Meiji.
And then their religion.
Their religion. English are Anglicans, they're WASP. They are formerly a Germanic tribe that occupy what we call now the UK or the English land, England. China, You see it, even though you have pockets of different tribes. They all speak Mandarin. They're all from the Ming dynasty. They all share the same religion and the same history. Let me ask you, who is a Nigerian?
I would say someone who's born there, or someone who's parents are from there or raised there.
So what is Nigerian culture?
It varies because in Nigeria...
So the answer is there's no such thing. What do Nigerians speak?
Multiple languages.
There's no such thing. What is the sense of value of Nigeria as a culture? There's no such thing. What is the history of Nigeria? There is no such thing unless you start from 1960 when we gained independence.
So are you saying it's the people's fault that we're not developing even?
Let me ask you, the 63 black countries in the world, do you know any black country where the people who live in it founded it? By founding, I mean a group of people like the Yoruba kingdom moving around and came upon a land that is fertile, has what they want, and they settled there. Even if they have to kill the indigenous and steal their women, they did, and they made it into a republic. Is there such a thing on earth? A place, a country where the blacks who live in it were the ones who founded it. No black country on earth will become industrialized. Impossible. You said resources. People keep complaining and telling you that the reason African countries can develop is because white people stole their resources. It's a lie. There are 4 resources nobody can steal.
Black people were not ready for freedom. We were not ready for freedom. I've studied everywhere we have been liberated, whether or not we were able to liberate ourselves from our own bondage. Study us as a people. This is not a criticism, it's a reflection. If you differ, I'm happy to share perspectives. But study us as a people. You notice that everywhere where we are in bondage, we are phenomenal at fighting for our liberation. Once we've received it, something goes wrong. And the mindset is pervasive. And it's pervasive, it's invasive, it's insidious. It's like a virus. And if you try and remove, once a virus takes over a cell, it multiplies. And so the reason you can't remove the virus is the only way to kill it is to kill the host. That's where we are. When a person amongst us does something, rather than celebrate, we ridicule. Rather than collaborate, we compete. Rather than support, we sabotage. I thought long and hard about why is this? It's been bugging me. And then I realized something, that whether it was apartheid, colonization, all of those systems of oppression had one singularity in communication. They said to black people, only one. So in slavery days, there was only one house nigger. The rest of y'all worked in the field. So when a black person makes it, the rest of us go, shit. That's why we practice crabs in a bucket. The only way I get that seat is if I'm Tatu Vosigindegala. We don't think multiplier. Make sense? People will see this and I'll get slated for it, I'm sure.
We need to convene the leaders of this continent to talk about this visa story. I'm seized to understand and failing to understand why we are not deliberately sending young people into other parts of the continent. Experience the culture, live with the people. To be here, I had to go through Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, I was in Zambia. So I went South Africa, Zambia, Ethiopia, Nigeria. Between now and December, I'm going to be in about 8 different African countries. In that same time, it's going to be easier for me to do 5 different countries in Europe than it will be to do 2 different countries in Africa. Who designed this nonsense? I have a theory. And here is my theory. You only lock the vault where there is money.
The moral ethics of the West is me, myself, and I. In the African culture, I am, because we are. We have allowed a Western hegemony to dictate our behavior, and it has made our communities dysfunctional. Should we look back, we'll be able to see the future. Should we look back, we'll be able to find ourselves. Religion has not helped us. It has made us animals as they are. But in the truth of African spirituality, we can find our true identity and know that I am not alone. I am with them who were in the past. I am my ancestor, for they live in me as I lived in them before I became. The balance could be found in that the one who is looking for the balance know what they're balancing it on. You need to understand exactly if you want that balance. Is it halfway you dress up like an African? halfway you dress up like a European? Is it a balanced way? Halfway you sing Amazing Grace, and halfway you sing Tai Wagai Tai Tai? Is it halfway you do the legality of Western democracy, and halfway you do African? That concept of finding halfway between, it's amazing, particularly for us as Africans.
Maponga hits a nerve here, the fracture between Ubuntu and Western individualism. The West raised generations on me, myself, and I, while Africa was built on I am because we are. Somewhere along the line, we abandoned that communal spine and borrowed a selfish moral compass that doesn't point north for our culture. That's why communities are collapsing, why we can live in cities full of people yet feel utterly alone. When Maponga says look back to see the future, he's not talking nostalgia. He's talking recovery, a call to remember the operating system that made African civilization humane, spiritual, and self-sustaining long before the Bible or Quran reached our shores. Because if you forget that you are the continuation of those before you, you start living like a disconnected fragment, measuring success by personal comfort instead of collective survival. And he's right, religion hasn't saved us. Imported theology stripped us of our soul and replaced our gods with guilt. It made us worship strangers and despise our ancestors. We now fear the drum more than the devil, when the drum once summoned unity and healing. But here's the irony. Maponga exposes beautifully Africa's obsession with balance. We say we want equilibrium, but what we practice is confusion. Half Kente, half Gucci, half ancestor, half colonial, half democracy, half chieftaincy, half amazing grace, half Thumamina. It's not balance, it's dilution. You can't blend freedom and captivity and expect harmony. The real balance is not halfway between two worlds, it's full alignment with who we are. It's remembering that in African spirituality, existence is relational. My humanity depends on yours. My spirit continues through those who came before and those who come after. Maponga's message, when decoded, is simple but revolutionary. Stop negotiating with your identity. The African soul doesn't need balance, it needs restoration.
Now looking back,
What do you make of this? I've always said I don't speak for black people. I want to speak with and alongside black people. Mm-hmm. I don't want Africa to bow down to the east or to the west. Mm-hmm. I want Africa to be on its own feet and drive its own future into the future. Some might call me a bit of a Pan-Africanist, which I agree with. I have elements of Pan-Africanism as well as Marxism, as well as humanism. Mm-hmm. But I think it's disgusting that other humanity looks down upon Africa because, let's be honest, largely during the colonial period, civilization, the word itself, was westernized. It was given through a Western eye. And anything we see as different to Germany or France, it's less, right? White is fine, brown is not good, yellow is mellow, but black is not all right. Black has to stand back. And that mentality I want to break. I want to be the leader or the president of South Africa, but I want to ignite the flame in the people that want us to be that, whether they be black or white or whatever.
Or whatever they are.
These are conversations Africans are not ready to have. The globalist, the controller, the person who rules and controls Africa plans for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years on how to control Africa. What are Africans doing? Africans are busy making money. They think money is everything. My friend, no. There's a difference between money and power. The globalist is interested in power and how to maintain that power. Did you ask yourself how the neocolonialist is able to control Africa yet they are not in Africa? They did that so well, but by placing puppet governments. So the other day I see that they're still properly building and sending terrorists in Burkina Faso. When we think that the calm has come, when we think the storm is over, they hit and they hit and they come to kill. When they talk about Vision 2030, when they talk about I don't know what and what and what, these people plan years in advance for control, not for money, for control. Africans, you must stop thinking everything ends with money. Everything that does not end with money. It's about power, control, and posterity of the same.
Hey, what's up, beautiful and amazing people? So guys, in today's video, I want us to talk about Pan-Africanism. So today we are specifically going to talk about self-reliance, because you know that is the only thing that will lift us up. That is the only thing that will make us feel extremely comfortable, like just do our own things without minding. Let me tell you guys, have you ever seen these white people coming to Africa, and you would think that they are in their own country? And I can tell you, the level of confidence, honestly, it's from what they are fed when they are back at home. As on this other side of the world, we are told this specific information. Oh, Africa is poor. Oh, Africa is not intelligent. Like they used to feed in our minds until people like Patrice Lumumba, people like Sankara, people like PLO Lumumba, people like Bobby Wine, people like Julius Malema, people like, name them, the Pan-Africanists, came out boldly, confidently, and told us, Africans, you need to decolonize your minds. You need to decolonize the fact that, I mean, you just need to get out of the mental slavery that you have been put into since time immemorial. And I get to wonder, for how long will it take us to really decolonize our minds? Because these people, they, as much as they handed over the flag, they gave us, you know, democracy, sovereignty, but you can see that they still control us in some way. Number one, debt issues. We have actually most African countries owe them, the East and the West. We owe them so much money that it will take us almost 1,000 years to complete paying the debt. And guys, it's crazy, right? I mean, I just love Pan-Africanism, because once you sit down and listen to these people, they ooze wisdom. They teach you a lot of things that really makes sense. It's like listening to Louis Farrakhan also. That guy, you'll never ever get tired of listening to him, because the moment he speaks like this, it's something that is meant to be instilled in your mind so that you can stay awakened. Previously, I did a video about the children of MAGA, or rather, these children whose parents are so much into MAGA that they have completely changed. And I was like, I think that's what we are into for real, because How comes like we can know that, you know, our raw materials are being extracted from here and then we don't even have the power to price them? They have to be taken outside the country, then get priced there and then come back and it is sold to us. That we need to say no to that. And again, our own leaders being used to destabilize other countries that have raw materials. In Congo, I can tell you, it's not just their leaders that are destabilizing the country. It's also some of the neighboring countries that are being used to, you know, the military equipments pass through them and then they take it to the Congo. And of course, even Sudan, guys. Sudan is trending now, not for any good reason, for all the bad reasons that I can't even bring those clips here, even of people reacting and analyzing those clips from there. We can't actually bring it here. It's horrible. It's devastating and discouraging because it's Africans versus Africans. And I can tell you that most Pan-Africanists tell us that it is only an African who will build another African genuinely. And in the case of South Sudan, we are seeing an African destroying a fellow African genuinely with passion, guys. And I saw this clip of this beautiful South Sudanese lady with children, and this rebel group approached them, the RSF in South Sudan. They really traumatized them by, you know, I don't even want to talk about it. But guys, if our leaders decide that we don't want any rebel groups, for sure it will not be there. If our leaders decide that we want peace, for sure peace will be there. And people will live in their own countries peacefully, loving each other, supporting each other. But then, how will we achieve the self-reliance thing if in the first place we cannot promote love? We cannot promote unity. I can tell you, it's so funny that in Congo, those places that are hit hard by this are those areas that have massive raw materials. But then if you look at these regions that doesn't have even an inch of mineral, they are not fighting at all. It's very peaceful. But look at those regions with cobalt, coltan, gold, uranium, a lot of instability. Troops are brought from abroad to protect the minerals. But what will they tell the people of Congo? We are bringing these troops to come and protect you, which is not the case at all. Africa, we need to stay awakened. We need to decolonize our minds. We need to get out of mental slavery. I know we didn't actually create this for ourselves. It was created for us through systems that ran from our forefathers, from our grandparents, and it's affecting generations. But I can tell you, recently, when you look at the Gen Z generations and some part of millennials, things are gonna be different. But of course, with anything that is up and coming, we have those that have already, you know, strategized on how to deal with it. But I really hope that the young people, the young generation in the near future will stand firm, will be confident on fighting for what is their own, because what the East and the West have been using is to use the easily manipulated leaders, corrupt leaders. Those are the kind of people that they use, and those are the kind of people that they are really friends with. Look at Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The West, the East, they are not working with them at all, because for them they refused and they were like, no, we are not giving you our minerals for free. If you need them, you gotta pay some certain amount of money, else we will not allow you. If you need our resources, you gotta build, you know, factories here and our raw materials to be processed and priced here. But then nobody will. Anyway, you see what's happening there. If they find easily manipulated leaders, they work with them. And guys, let's just pray for Africa anyway. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.